Yo, what up, good people? We're back at February 2nd, 2022, quadruple twos. Um, Another Wednesday evening. I know, right? Put up the deuces, put up the
I know,
deuces.
right? Yeah, man. Yeah.
First off, what I want to do is I want to say shout out to Black History Month. It is February. You know, we got to claim our month. We get one of them.
Facts.
28 days, but we gonna
So
take
let's
Yeah.
be proud.
No. Look, they giving us 28 days, but we taking 365.
it.
Oh,
Cheers to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I just there we go. Yeah, so yeah, shout out Black History Month. You're here with your favorite crew, the Too Smart for Me podcast, BJ, Big C, Iliyaas. Oh, you showing the guns. Oh yeah, you feeling it. You feeling it.
spent a little time in the gym today.
Did you?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I mean,
Let's
they're
play
saying
that
this
drop.
is what he
Let's
want
play
me to
that
do.
drop.
And Cleveland, this is for you.
Yeah. Cleveland, you know what it is. Gotta rep the hometown. Gentlemen, before we get into another set of great playoff games, something has happened in the NFL. A bombshell, an explosion. Brian Flores filed a class action lawsuit on the NFL and a couple of teams. Man, wasn't expecting
Crazy.
that. Wasn't
Crazy.
expecting that at all. Crazy. Woo. So we
Yep.
definitely gotta touch on that. Um, let me go first, fellas. Let me go first. So we talked about the Rooney Rule a week or two ago, and I remember when I told you guys that I don't think the Rooney Rule works. Yeah, I know its purpose is to put a black individual in front of a white individual, the owner, and just to grant them that access to get that interview. But I feel like this has Brian Flores and what he has done or is in the process of doing with his legal team is shedding light on, to me, why it doesn't work. I mean, we saw you guys read the text messages between him and Bill. So
I
that's
actually
actually
didn't, but I heard about
okay.
it.
So Bill
Go ahead.
Belichick Bill Belichick is close with, obviously he worked with Brian Dable and Brian Flores.
Yep.
So in his phone, and this is my assumption, he doesn't have their last names in the contact. He just has them both as Brian, right?
Well, they would be the same. They spell it the same.
Yeah, Brian is spelled the same, but their last names are different. So if I have more than one Brian in my phone, I'm going to associate the last name so I can distinguish between the two Bryans or
Right.
however many Bryans I have.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Go ahead.
Bill Belichick, well, and part of the lawsuit, Brian Flores exposed the text messages between him and Bill Belichick. And the text messages went a little something like this. Oh, congratulations, man. I hear from the Giants and the Bills that you're the guy. If you want it to be yours, it's your job, and congratulations, etc., etc. And Brian Flores is responding like, "Oh man, yes, I absolutely do. I want another chance to show what I'm about in this league." Paraphrasing, and and then after a short response, Brian Flores respond. His last response was, "Hey Bill, are you talking? Did you think you were talking to Brian Dable or myself, Brian Flores?" And Bill responds, "Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Thought I was texting Brian Dable." So Brian Flores says, "Thank you. Okay." Now, in that text message, Bill was saying when he told him congratulations and all this good stuff, That was 3 days before he was supposed to interview with the Giants. So the Rooney Rule, the Giants are capitalizing, saying, "Yeah, we put a black guy in front of us. Yeah, we follow the Rooney Rule, but did they really follow it?" So yeah, the Rooney Rule, like you guys said, its action or its course of action is supposed to put you in front of that white owner so you can get this job. But that's the problem. Why is it why is it a Rooney Rule in the first place? Why do we have to have one? That therein lies the problem. Therein lies the problem. You have to create one because it's issues there. It's
Yes,
issues there.
of course.
So and then I hear, oh, but it's all about relationships and it's all about, the relationship that these coaches had. Brian Flores has worked with Bill Belichick. He worked with the Patriots since '03, and he made his way all the way up to defensive coordinator and then got his head coaching job in Miami. So it's not about relationships with Brian Flores. He got the GOAT coach, or if you want to call him the GOAT or not. He has him on his side as far as, a recommendation. So you can't use, well, it's all about relationships with Brian Flores. You didn't even give this man a true shot. You just wanted to use the Rooney Rule as an excuse to say you put an external candidate that was black in front of you, although you knew you were going with Brian Dable all along.
Correct.
Why is Byron Leftwich and Eric Bieniemy still not
unemployed.
even? Yes, why? Why?
We know why.
But I just read a report today. The Vikings head coach, I mean not head coach, or the Vikings are about they wanted to hire Jim Harbaugh, but he's staying at Michigan. Now they're going straight to Sean McVay's offensive coordinator.
Yep.
They didn't interview Byron Leftwich or Eric Bieniemy. They're not even a thought.
Oh,
It's straight to Sean McVay's OC. So I mean, I just feel like, man, it's just a disgrace. I hope that Brian Flores and his legal team, I hope they get somewhere. I hope this starts change. I hope it does. I mean, it's 70% players playing in the league. Maybe if you cut that in half and go to 35%, and that halves, and they decide to take a stand and say, "Oh, I'm not playing," then maybe you could get somewhere. But we know the owners. At the end of the day, it's all about the bottom line. The ratings have been killing it in the playoffs. It's been killing it, and this isn't going to change anything or get anywhere because the bottom line, them dollars. So, Brian Flores, I respect it. I'm with you, bro. I'm glad you're doing it. You're sacrificing. You know you're not going to coach again. You already know it.
oh, he's done.
I respect it, but Mike Tomlin, speak up. Andrew Berry, speak up. Former black coaches, former black execs, speak up.
We had one speak up.
Gotta help the cat. Gotta help the cat. So that's all I got, guys. Go ahead. What's your thoughts?
You going, Big C?
No. Go ahead.
Your thoughts are my thoughts. Well, first of all, we all knew it was a sham. Everybody knew the Rooney Rule was a sham. It's just finally it's come out to light to other people based on that text message from Bill Belichick that it's a sham. That he went in on the interview just to satisfy the Rooney Rule. But it's not the first. We've heard about other black coaches being interviewed, knowing good and well there is no chance in hell they're getting that coaching job. But because it was Brian Flores, it kind of hit a little harder because he shouldn't be just a token interview. Brian Flores is a legitimate coach who should have serious considerations for that job. But we all know that that's not going to happen either. And it's not about. I disagree with you on one point, nephew. It's not about relationships per se. I mean, it's not about who you know. I think you mixed up the two. Who you know, yeah, Brian Flores comes with a great background, and he comes from the Bill Belichick tree. But relationships mean something a little different. Relationships is that, who I'm going to have a beer with after work, or who I'm going to go golf with, or who my general manager goes to golf with, or who my general manager has a beer with, or whatever. That's more about relationships, not necessarily who you know. So I think you were mixing the two. Yeah, he comes from the Bill Belichick tree, so everybody knows him, but that does not mean he's going to have a good relationship. I applaud him for doing this lawsuit. I just don't know how you're going to tell billionaire owners who to hire. At the bottom line is they're going to pick who they want to pick because they own their own self-corporation. The owners have to change. The GMs have to change. The vice presidents of player operations, whatever, all those people have to change and be willing to take the risk on some of these other black coaches. Because we know right now there is no reason why, like you said, Leftwich or Bieniemy should not have jobs. Absolutely not. There is no there. You can. I don't care what qualifications you put up there. Other people of their ilk have already been hired multiple times. So there is no reason for it except one. We all know. So I applaud him, like you said. I hope it works out for him. I just really don't know what are you going to do? I mean, what can it accomplish? And then you don't want to be that guy that just gets hired because the NFL said, well, you got to hire a black coach. Now you're walking in there like, well, the only reason we picked you because our hands were tied and we were forced to pick you. You don't want that either. So what's the solution? Again, we talked about this with the Rooney Rule. I don't know what the solution is. I just know I am proud that he is standing up and he is telling, spilling the tea, as they say. And we do have another black coach who came out, Hugh Jackson, also said, yeah, that this stuff happens to me too, as far as the tanking games part of his lawsuit that he was mentioned. I don't know if that's part of the lawsuit, but the whole tanking games, I guess we can get into that another time. But yeah, it's unfortunate. It's just, I'm glad it's being brought to light, and now people realize that it is what it is. But what's the solution? And I just don't have one right now.
Does the Rooney Rule work? Yes. It's unfortunate, but it does work. Does it net the results that they thought it would? Absolutely not. Now, that being said, this lawsuit, unfortunately, it doesn't have much teeth. And what they're about to do, you are literally about to see the NFL machine go to work. And you're talking about a smear campaign that's about to come down the pipe on this cat. And it's unfortunate because although the NFL said, the lawsuit has no merit, which is kind of interesting to me that they'll actually come out and use those words, it has a lot of merit behind it, a whole lot of merit behind it. Because like y'all said, we all know what's going on. Everyone loves sausage, but you damn sure don't want to see it made.
Correct.
And that is exactly what he's actually about to expose.
Mm-hmm.
The Bill Belichick situation with the text message was unfortunate on Bill's part. I was listening to the talk shows or the sports shows today, and everybody talking about this shines a bad light on Bill. And I'm like, well, Bill didn't do anything. We've all done text somebody and said, damn, that's the wrong person. Yeah, you can't take it back. So, Bill, exactly. It's going down, man. So then Bill had nothing to do with it. So I don't have a problem with what Bill did. None of that. But the Rooney Rule, in essence, it does work, but unfortunately, it doesn't get that play. I mean, the wannabe coach in front of the actual owner. And you're right, B. We can change the minds of the GM, everything from the GM on down. But if you're not affecting the billionaire, and you can't, like you said, you can't tell them how to run their operation. That's their thing. That's their baby. And if they don't want you there, you're not gonna be there. So yeah. And then you touched on Hugh Jackson. If we're talking about now the paying to lose game aspect. If this is true, and you're right, I don't know if that part is. I don't know if that's part of the lawsuit, which I actually kind of think it is because the Dolphins are actually named specifically within that lawsuit. And if that's the case, and if this is a class action lawsuit, Hugh Jackson should be the first person to sign up for it if that's the case.
Right.
So, yeah. So don't sit there and tell me that you can document this and document that. If you don't put your name on the dotted line, then what is the point? Lip service means nothing. So, yeah, Hugh Jackson, he has to stand up and say something about that. And on this cycle of NFL coaches who's being hired for this cycle, not a one who has a job now had any head coaching experience. And if you put a blind resume in front of everyone with these coaches, Bieniemy has the best resume of anybody who is applying for these jobs. And the fact that he doesn't have a head coaching job right now is a travesty.
What you talking about, Flores or Bieniemy?
No, Bieniemy.
You talking about Bieniemy?
Oh, Bieniemy all day. I'm talking about someone that does not have head coaching experience.
Does not have head coaching. Okay,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all the people that got hired for these jobs were coordinators. They didn't have any head coaching experience. Yeah. But Bieniemy, come on, man.
I think Leftwich up there too, man.
Leftwich.
Oh no, listen. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I apologize about that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But if you're just looking at a blind resume,
Bieniemy
is nothing. Yeah, Bieniemy by far, man.
Yeah.
So, but hell, a second, a close second, Leftwich.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.